On this episode of the CBD University podcast, it was a big year for our award-winning and industry best-selling gummies. So how do we improve on our CBD gummies done right? Innovation, manufacturing, and capacity. Here why 2021 will be an even bigger year on this episode of the CBD University podcast, and it starts right now. I'm Joe Augustinelli, host of the CBD University podcast, and if you are a returning listener, thank you once again for coming back to our podcast. If you are a new listener, we are glad you found us on your favorite podcast platform of choice. We hope that you will subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget full episode videos available on the Global Widget YouTube channel and the YouTube channels of our brands Hemp Bombs and Nature's Script. Well, last year was a big year for our CBD gummies with the debut of our new and improved CBD gummies in July. They were named the CSP Retailer Choice Best New Product in the CBD and Hemp category in 2020. And our Hemp Bombs brand leads the convenience store space with over 60% of the market share according to the latest IRI Spins data. Plus, stay tuned to our podcast for a special edition episode in the near future on the launch of a new non-CBD gummy variant focused on health and wellness in response to industry trends. But before we get to all of that, how do we top everything that went on in 2020? And my two guests here today will tell you all about what's in store for the year ahead when it comes to gummies. And I welcome our Chief Operating Officer, Salim Beltagi, and Vice President of White Label and Raw Materials, Chad Levitt. Thanks for both coming back to the podcast.
It's good to be here.
Good to be here.
Salim, we'll start off with you. When it comes to formulating and manufacturing our gummies, it all starts way before you get the finished product in the bottles. As you can see, some of them here on that's the Nature's Script brand. That's the Hemp Bombs brand, and we'll talk a little bit about the white label opportunities when Chad joins us. But before we even get to that step, got to have the right formulation, and we got to have the right technology and processes, and that's something we are expanding on as we go into 2021, and something we expanded on in 2020.
That's exactly, Joe. And it all starts with a recipe. It all starts with a team that we have our own recipes in house. We create our own recipes, and then the formulation team is exceptional. They take pride in everything they do, and then our gummies is just coming off the press. I mean, they're delicious. They're just like, we have capacity. We are adding equipment, and we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. We continue to expand, and can't tell you enough about our team.
And we do have some behind the scenes videos available on our YouTube channel that takes you behind the scenes of the gummies and how they are made. And you talk a little bit about the machines. 2 machines so far, a third one just coming online.
Exactly.
Not too long ago.
So we have 3 gummy lines, and then we're ordering a 4th one. So that will be coming in very soon in the next 4 weeks. So we're expanding our capacities, and then it's exciting. It's exciting that we're investing in the business. We continue to grow. Our gummy business is great. As you mentioned earlier, the award-winning gummies. So it's all exciting. 2021 is going to be a great year for us.
And Chad, another reason for success in the gummy market and then coming over to the white label is the endless possibilities because of that capacity. So when we talk about capacity, I mean, you're smiling already.
Yeah.
So go ahead, tell us all about it and how it really affects the white label and raw ingredient side.
Well, what it allows us to do is with this capacity, and capacity starts, and let's back up even more so than that. Let's back up to the formulations team. The commitment that the company has made to formulations, and just in terms of the people itself, our team has actually doubled in size over the course of the last 60 days. So with that happening, that just gives us even more possibilities. And what was that born of? Well, we are having great conversations with a number of companies out in the industry now, and starting to look at, in the past of hey, let's reverse engineer, let's look backwards at some of the products that you have, and maybe people that are having challenges because of their current supplier has capacity issues. And so what does that mean? It means that things that turn around at 6 months at other facilities turn around in 30 to 45 days here. And that itself, combined with the low MOQs that we require on a, per gummy, say a private label formula, mix those together with that increased capacity. Salim talked about the 3rd machine that's online, but we have the 4th that's being ordered. You add all that together, and what happens is our capacity, we're not near our capacity, but it allows us to kind of continue to say, yes, let's look at these other opportunities, yes. It allows us to expand and look at other vitamins, other cannabinoids, other different sizes, shapes, and really the speed and efficiency at which we operate, and also combined with the years and years of experience, specifically gummy experience from our formulations team, it really has allowed us to kind of grow in this market. And what we've seen really since the contract manufacturing team has come online, really just a little over 6 months ago, no other word on it, it's just exploded. And we've really been fortunate, and it's been a great ride, and been really enjoying to be a part of this.
And when we talk about capacity, just to put it in perspective, how does it work with the manufacturing team? Like, how many gummies can we make on a maybe daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis? Is this like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory? Are the machines running all the time?
And the machines are actually, yes, we continuously run our machines. And like Chad mentioned, we still have capacity, but we are getting more capacity in order to prepare for anything that's upcoming, any additional business, any new business. But on average, a little over 1.5 million gummies a day. With the fourth machine coming in, it'll be over 2 million gummies a day. So that's going to allow us to do all kinds of things. So it's exciting. It's a lot of capacity available, and we're looking forward to fill all those machines and maybe order a fifth one. So
Let's see what happens. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That's right. It's just exciting times. It's exciting times.
Yeah.
When you have 3 machines and you have all these capacities and you have a fourth one on the way. So why not?
And what kind of certifications and or state licenses are needed for making your own gummies? I know there's some things in the work, but what so far is like the key license or certification to have so we can be doing this on a daily basis?
Well, we know in 2020 the Florida Hemp permit, so we already secured that. We have our audits already done. We have the Florida Hemp certificate that we can make edibles in our facilities, so we're proud of that. We continue to work on additional certifications. As they come on board, we'll be talking about those.
And for more on stuff from the state of Florida, you can take a listen back to episode 44. Holly Bell, the cannabis director from the state of Florida, appeared on our podcast just a couple of months ago, but her information is still very pertinent as to what we talked about, even though we're a few episodes down the road. Once again, that's episode 44. So, Chan, on top of capacity, the ability to control that process from the formulation to the time it gets on the store shelves really speaks to the vertical integration and efficacy across just about any brand.
Yep.
Or type of gummy, correct?
Yeah, it is. You said it great. Really, in terms of that vertical integration, the fact that our company, we actually extract material and have the capabilities to do so, that really means that material, once it's received to us, we'll say in biomass form, which is just the raw hemp itself that's been milled down. Once we receive that material, it won't leave this facility until it's got a label, a bottle, a shrink, a cap. It's ready to go, and then it's been tested, in terms through a third-party ISO lab that's given the go-ahead and verified that's within a certain spec. When you work with products that are, in the past, what's been traditionally understood in the market as what's acceptable in CBD specifically is gummies can be really kind of come in any form. And what I mean by that is it can come in any shape and size, but in how it's even manufactured, you could spray the material, which is literally you're spraying and coating the gummies itself. And Global Widget realized that, hey, this is a great opportunity to us for kind of like say, well, let's take a little different approach, a much different approach, I should say, kind of align more with CPG, consumer packaged goods in the industry. Let's infuse these things. So what does that mean ultimately at the end of the day? It means that you go from these super wide variances on a per piece basis to something narrow that's more like 10%. And I'm talking about wide. Like you're talking like it could be 20 and 30%. You could get a gummy, it could just be as low as, you get a 10 milligram gummy, it could be as low as like 5 milligrams to as high as 15 when sprayed on average. That variance goes from like 9 to 11, when you're looking at an infused product. That is the beauty of having infused, and that means that the customer's getting a better experience, they're getting more consistent product, so therefore they're getting the real effects and the real benefits, that they feel that they're getting from the CBD itself.
And Salim, how important is it to find the right balance of ingredients in the formulation so the gummies are produced to our very high quality standards, especially when it comes to new machines? Obviously, it probably takes a little bit to get the look and feel of the machine and how gummies come out, correct?
Exactly. I mean, our machines, typically any industry, you put a brand new line inside your facility, it takes you 30 to 60 days to get it up and running. we are fortunate to have an exceptional engineering and maintenance team. And our machines, as they come in, within 3 weeks, we're up and running. But you have to experience. In each line is a little bit different, even though they're made similar. And we're having redundancy to make sure our equipment's similar as we move forward. But it's definitely from cooking it at the right temperature, producing it, cooling it through the cooling tunnels as it comes out, coating it, whether it's wax coated or whether it's sugar coated. It all has to be at the right time, the right place, and then drying it. And making sure that the gummy, when it comes out, it's ready to be put in a package that is going to be ready to be consumed at some point in the future. That is, the form is correct, the molds, the shape, everything else, and the taste and texture. So we take pride in every step of the way, and that doesn't happen by accident. You have to test it, you have to try it, you have to dial it in. So it takes a little bit of time to get it up and running, but once our lines are up and running, they are consistent, every one of them.
And finally, Chad, what's the feedback you get when people realize that our gummies are made exclusively in-house, and when you have them here, they see the technology and the innovation, and maybe even some folks who have been here in the past, and then they come in now, and they're like, whoa, this is complete. I mean, it's completely different from when I first walked in the back when I started here in 2019 to today.
Right.
What's it like for the folks who are here that you're bringing around?
You know, we still take on visitors, and we actually had a tour even as recently as this past Wednesday. And the comments that we get from folks really just, you guys really have something that's quite unique in this industry. And what that is capacity. We're talking gummies on this one. This is what the focus of this conversation is. But there's capacity in other areas too. So it becomes a wow effect when you look at the capabilities of the company from a production standpoint, from a distribution standpoint, from a extraction standpoint. We really kind of are far superior to what we see. Really, that's well received, well expected in the market. There's just a difference. And people are back there, they're working every single day. I mean, we are cranking. I mean, you go back there, we have 3 lines working. We have another on the way. There's five bagging machines right now with 3 more on the way there. You have multiple sorting lines and packaging lines as it relates to the bottles. So this is just related to gummies, my friend. So this is like, we've got so much more to offer too in addition to that. It's exciting, but these things, along with what we are working on in terms of a compliance and regulatory standpoint, that is what really kind of sets us apart, because we're looking not just what we were yesterday, but how do we become better for everyone going forward as well.
And we'll have more on that topic in a episode coming up in the very near future with our Chief Compliance Officers. We talk about some of the labeling and packaging initiatives being undertaken here in 2021 to comply with the ever-changing industry and some new regulations around the country, so tune in for that. But for now, I want to thank both of you for coming on the podcast. I think we'll be having both of you back throughout 2021. It's a lot of exciting stuff going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Salim Baltagi and Chad Levitt, my guests here on this episode of the CBD University podcast. And don't forget, you can subscribe to our podcast wherever you get your podcasts to receive notifications when new episodes are published each week. Plus, catch full video episodes on the Global Widget YouTube channel and the YouTube channels of our brands. I'm Joe Augustinelli, host of the CBD University podcast. Thanks for tuning in. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. The CBD products are not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Always consult your personal physician about CBD and using CBD products. CBD should never be used by anyone under the age of 18. This content is not intended to provide legal advice regarding the legal status of CBD and CBD products.